Doing a deal with Ukraine and democratic cognitive dissonance. It's 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. Item number 5 today, Ukraine. Looks like Ukraine has tentatively agreed to President Trump's deal on mineral rights access. The Financial Times broke the story, reporting that while the devil will be in the details, given that as recently as Sunday, Ukraine's President Zelensky was against such a deal. They are reporting, quote, Ukrainian officials say Kyiv is now ready to sign the agreement on jointly developing its mineral resources, including oil and gas, after the U.S. dropped demands for a right to $500 billion in potential revenue from exploiting its resources. Nothing ultimately finalized, still a lot of haggling to before the dotted line is signed. Meanwhile, in a wide-ranging interview on Russia One TV, Russia's President Vladimir Putin said his country is in talks with the United States over cooperating on major joint economic projects. These remarks on Monday came 2 weeks after his first phone call with President Trump, saying, quote, some Russian and American companies are in contact and discussing major projects, end quote. This was confirmed by the U.S. side as well. President Trump on his Truth Social media outlet revealed that, quote, major economic development transactions which will take place between the U.S. and Russia, end quote, are in the works. The money quote from President Putin responding to a question about whether Donald Trump governs based on emotion, quote, no, of course not. His actions are based on cold calculation and a rational approach to the situation, end quote. And rationally speaking, since the end of the Cold War, it's only made sense for the West and the United States to cooperate with Russia, given the vast amount of natural resources it has, especially petrochemical, hydrocarbons, oil, gas, rather than, and not to mention potash, which is a key component in fertilizer, rather than pushing it away and pushing it into China's arms, which is what's been happening under, well, every recent presidential administration except for Trump's. This tie them together with business deals, and suddenly you've got a mutual shared vision of the future. Makes sense to me, but being president is not my job, and quite frankly, I'm thankful for that. And you probably are too. Topic number 4, Israel. Israel estimates that at least 21 hostages remain alive inside Gaza. It's therefore determined to secure the release of them, as many of them as possible, as part of the ongoing ceasefire agreement. However, the decision to get rid of Hamas is apparently final, and that's only been reinforced in recent days, given the way things have come out, the details have come out about the Bibas family. This was the family with the toddler and the baby that were abducted. The father was released a few weeks ago. The rest released as corpses, but even then, the mother was not released immediately. They sent an anonymous corpse, did DNA testing on the remains that were given to Israel, and it turned out not only was it not Mrs. Bibas, it was not any one of the hostages either. They just sent a random unidentified corpse. They finally did release the body a couple days later. And then despite what Hamas claimed that the family had been killed in an IDF airstrike, it turned out that the toddler and the baby had been murdered, strangled within weeks of arrival in Gaza. The Israeli public, especially the Jewish Israeli public, now firmly opposed to any independent state for Palestinian Arabs. Topic number 3, the border. New survey with some very interesting revelations. 75% of American Democrats do not believe that President Joe Biden's administration deliberately kept the border open for migrants. This poll conducted by Harvard-Harris, 52% of Americans as a whole, 80% of American Republicans understand that Biden's Democrats, led by pro-migration border chief Alejandro Mayorkas, former Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, deliberately encouraged the inflow of up to 9, some say 11 million migrants during Biden's term in office. Those migrants arrived, entered through a variety of legal and quasi-legal and just outright illegal routes, such as parole, the Welcome Corps at Work program, facilitated by things like the app that allowed for migrants to apply for asylum online before they and then to be flown directly into the country, bypassing the border altogether. And these people were helped by billions of dollars in government funding and also funding by non-government organizations, NGOs, which were in turn funded by grants from the American taxpayer. But despite the massive evidence of a deliberate policy, this doesn't happen just through sheer incompetence. I mean, as much as we would like to think they're really incompetent, now you don't rise to that level of power inside the wealthiest and most powerful nation on earth by being incompetent. It's just that what they're telling us they're trying to do is not what they were trying to do. And the fact that the number of encounters by Border Patrol since Donald Trump took office, that's dropped about 94%. Seriously, 94% since Trump took office means that people on the other side of the border understood what Biden's administration was telling them, saying one thing with their lips, but doing another thing as they literally welded open some of the floodgates on the border. Topic number 2, mystery illness in Congo. An unknown illness, first discovered in 3 children who ate a bat, has killed more than 50 people in northwestern Congo over the past 5 weeks. The interval between the onset of symptoms, which include fever, vomiting, and internal bleeding, and death, has been 48 hours in most cases. That is disturbing. This hemorrhagic fever has been tested, and these symptoms commonly linked to things like Ebola, Marburg, dengue, yellow fever, but researchers have ruled out all of those based on tests of more than a dozen samples collected so far. Latest disease outbreak began January 21st, 419 cases, 53 deaths. That is an infection fatality rate of about 12.5%. Typically, seasonal flu about 0.1%. COVID was like 0.2%. So it's not, this is something to be concerned with. The outbreak began in the village of Boloko, northwestern Congo. 3 children ate a bat, died within 48 hours, and has not yet been contained. Again, thankfully, only less than 500 known cases, but something to keep an eye on. Coming up, New York police celebrate World Hijab Day, and I suspect New York criminals also celebrating. I'll explain why next on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can support the ministry of Skywatch TV in our continued efforts to share the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the 4 corners of the world and receive your very own copy of this urgent new work when you order the Rungs of Disclosure special offer. Not only does this incredible opportunity include L.A. Marzulli's new book, Rungs of Disclosure, but it also includes the Hybrid Age MP3 audio series on CD featuring Dr. Thomas Horn and Steve Quayle. But that's not all. Right now, this special offer also includes the legendary Official Disclosure MP3 audio series on CD, which is a value of $35 all by itself and features Dr. Chuck Missler, Gary Stearman, Michael Heiser, and so many more discussing the topic of alien activity all around the world through a biblical lens. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of over $80. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. But for a very limited time, you can upgrade your Rungs of Disclosure special offer to include the entire 10-DVD UFO Disclosure documentary series. Purchased separately, all of the items in the Rungs of Disclosure special offer with upgrade to include the entire UFO Disclosure 10-DVD documentary series would cost you over $280. Yours now for your donation of only $135, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Rungs of Disclosure or the Rungs of Disclosure with UFO Disclosure 10 DVD documentary series upgrade right now.
Item number 1 today, New York Police Department celebrating World Hijab Day. Muslim women on the New York Police Department explaining why this is a big deal. This was back on February 1st, so we're a few weeks late on reporting this story. But as part of the celebration, a Muslim policewoman on the force said that, quote, "I'm looking forward to another 100,000 ladies wearing hijabs in the near future," end quote. And presumably in context, she meant 100,000 women on the New York Police Department. Now, I mean no disrespect to Muslims specifically or women generally, but assuming that she's referring to women wearing hijabs on patrol, I suspect that the criminals of New York would be in full agreement with this. Because, I mean, just look at the average difference between the average man and the average woman, wearing a hijab or not. I'm sorry, there are certain jobs, and certainly within the police department, there are certain roles for which women on the force are preferred and better suited than men. But subduing criminals, especially armed criminals, not necessarily. And you got to wonder what this kind of broadcast for the New York police has to do with community outreach, I suppose. But you would think, given the issues in New York City, that maybe devoting time and resources to other things would be better. This week on Skywatch TV, we talk with L.A. Marzulli, author of the new book, Rungs of Disclosure. Shapeshifters, demonic oppression, how's that connected with the UFO phenomenon? There is a difference between strange lights in the sky and alien contact. They're not from other planets, they're from other dimensions, which is a language that we as Christians should understand. Don't miss the broadcast program right now. You can watch it over the air. Our broadcast schedule posted, skywatchtv.com/channels. You can watch it on one of our set-top box outlets, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV. On the internet, youtube.com/@skywatchtelevision. If you watch there, please subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, and hit that like button. Rumble.com/skywatchtv, or through our free mobile app. Download it, add it to your smartphone or tablet, whether it's iOS, Amazon, Kindle Fire, Android. We've got apps for all of those and links to their app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. 5 in 10 is online. You'll find us at YouTube at 5 in 10. Subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit that like button. And also on X, formerly Twitter, at 5_in_10. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.